Yes, guys, welcome to a brand new presentation. My name is Conan, and today we're going to be talking about how my client Terry has lost over 60 pounds since starting our program. So I am extremely proud of him, and in today's video, we're pretty much going to break down pretty much where he started from and how he got to where he is now. So as you guys can tell by this quick before and after picture, he started working with us at 200 pounds around 6 months ago. Fast forward to today, he's down to 140 pounds. And so as you guys can tell by the before and after picture, it's a pretty crazy visual difference, right? And then what's even more exciting is that he has so much momentum behind him now where, and he has so much evidence now as well to suggest that, okay, he's already lost 60 pounds. Like he can lose a lot more weight from here. So it's really encouraging just to see this. And I'm just really proud of him. So we're going to break down pretty much how he did this. So here's a quick little graph. He started at 200 pounds, and then I just love seeing this, and then down to 139.4, actually, to be specific. So the first thing that we kind of did when he started working with us is kind of figuring out where he was starting from. So he never tracked his food before. He wasn't really big into exercising. He wasn't doing any of that, right? So we started from the base, and typically speaking, when it comes to fat loss, the biggest thing that you have to focus on is making sure that your calories are on point. In order to lose weight in general, you have to be in a calorie deficit. And now you can either do this by simply eating less food or moving your body a lot more, or if you want to optimize your results, you try to do a mix of both, eating less and moving more, right? I know it sounds really simple. There's a lot more to it than simply just that, because we do want to make sure that we're not losing weight at like a crazy rate, because there's a big difference between losing weight and losing body fat, because losing weight implies that both you are losing fat and muscle, which is not what you want, because I assume most people that are looking to lose weight in general want to look nice and toned, right? Having like a good amount of muscle on them, six-pack abs, as opposed to being like skinny fat, losing weight, losing fat, and losing muscle at the same time, right? So we really want to make sure that our calories aren't too low. So the first thing we did was calculated his calories based on his weight, height, age, activity level, and specific fitness goals. And then once we have found our calories, so first we found his maintenance calories, and then we simply subtracted around 500 calories from that number to put him in a 500 calorie deficit, which on paper should have him lose around 1 pound per week, right? And now once we have found our caloric intake based on his specific goals, we then calculated his his macronutrients, so his protein, carbs, and fats. And now once you guys, like if you guys do join our program, we will take care of all of this stuff. So I know there's a lot of numbers involved, a lot of different calculations, but you will basically take care of that if you do decide to join our program, right? And then all you really have to do is just plug and play and just simply do what is required of you. It is so much easier having a game plan and just like being told what to do, and then all that's really left for you to do is to simply execute. And by looking at this, obviously, you will see results, right? So we calculated his calories, calculated his macros, and so we have found that here. And again, this is a moving number. Like his caloric intake at the start of the program was a lot different than it is now 6 months down the road. Same thing with his macronutrients as well, right? But from there, we basically created him a customized meal plan with the foods that he actually enjoyed eating, because following a meal plan that is really restrictive or that is filled with like a bunch of foods that are just super bland and super boring, which I know a lot of coaches do, especially bodybuilding coaches, it is really extreme and it is unsustainable. In our program, we're all about seeing long-term and sustainable results, and the way that we get there is by actually following a fun and sustainable approach, right? Because if you don't see yourself following a meal plan for the rest of your life, then why follow it for one day, right? So that's why we really want to make sure that we're actually eating the foods that we enjoy. And on top of that, we also taught him and everyone else in this program how to actually keep track of your own food using a calorie tracking app called MyFitnessPal. And now once you have mastered this skill and mastered the art of just calculating your own food and measuring your own food with like a food scale, and just pretty much tracking your own food, it allows you to pretty much eat whatever you want, whenever you want, without feeling restrictive with your diet of having to eat specific foods, right? I know so many people are like dogmatic that, oh, I have to eat sweet potato for my carbs, or I have to eat oatmeal. It's like, no, there are so many different foods to choose from. You don't have to rely on just one specific food. And now, of course, certain foods may digest a bit better for you, right? For example, for myself, like I really can't stomach dairy. Like dairy it just messes me up. So I choose, right, to just stay away from dairy-based products. And that's totally fine because that's more of a personal preference. And so really kind of figuring that out for yourself really, really helps, right? But at the same time, like I still have everyone in this program be mindful of their food intake. So just because you can eat whatever you want, as long as you stick within your calories and macros, doesn't mean that you should, right? Because eating healthier foods, right? Like think of like your single ingredient foods. So ask yourself, how many ingredients does an apple have, right? It's like it only has one ingredient, only like it's an apple, right? Whereas how many ingredients does apple pie have? Well, I mean, there's a lot more involved in that. There's the cream, the sugars, the flour, the whatever else they put in apple pie, right? So making sure that 80% of the time we're eating whole, natural, single ingredient foods. And then the other 20% of the time, we can definitely indulge in whatever junk or sweet food we may desire, right? As long as we have that healthy balance there to still make sure we're eating somewhat healthy foods to make sure that we're actually feeling good most of the time. Our energy levels are staying nice and consistent. We don't have like these crazy spikes in energy and then these crashes afterwards. Like we want to make sure that we kind of do that. We want to make sure that we actually like feel good, just not just day to day, but then also in the gym, making sure that our performance is well, our sleep is on point, our skin stays nice and clear. All of these other health benefits are associated with just like eating mainly healthier foods. But then, like I mentioned, at the same time, we still have that flexibility to allow ourselves to still eat our favorite junk and sweet foods that we may desire from time to time, right? So that is in essence what we call the 80-20 rule, which we apply to everyone that kind of joins this program, right? And so what I love about this, Terry specifically, is that he had a great balance with his diet, right? Like we figured out his calories for him, we figured out his macros. He followed the meal plan to some extent, but then on other days he pretty much ate whatever he had access to, basically, right? And so I took a couple screenshots of pretty much our private app. So I'm giving you guys a quick little sneak peek on what this looks like in the back end. But yeah, we basically got his calories and macros. And then what's so cool about this is that we actually can sync the MyFitnessPal app to our customized training app. So whenever I do his check-ins and just all throughout the week, I can basically see whatever my client Terry and all my other clients eat throughout the day. So I can not only see their specific calories and macros, like are they making sure that they're hitting their numbers, I can also see like exactly like what foods they're eating. So I can give them some suggestions like, hey, if you notice that you're hungry a lot more, try to focus more on these foods and less on these foods, right? So this really helps me kind of like monitor everything for them to pretty much optimize the results, right? So Terry, I just took a screenshot of one of his days of eating here. For breakfast, he had one fruit cup, breakfast here. He had fruity Dino Bite cereal, so I think this is like Fruit Loops. He had a serving of that with some yogurt, and then a protein shake with some low-fat milk. So that was his breakfast, right? 45 grams of protein, 72 grams of carbs, and 8 grams of fat, with around 550 calories, which honestly isn't too bad. So despite the macros being pretty good, you guys can still tell that, okay, he's still eating his favorite kid cereal, right? And it's like, yes, that is totally cool. He can still definitely do that. For snacks, he had a fruit cup with a Chick-fil-A salad and some creamy salsa, right? 42 grams of protein here, 54 grams of fat, and 54 grams of carbs and 41 grams of fat. Also, solid meal. And then for dinner, he had a protein shake with some turkey and American cracker stackers, which I think is like a snack or something. So ultimately, you guys can tell that he has food. He has fun with his food. He doesn't have like a crazy specific diet. But as you guys can tell, like he hit his calories for the day here, stayed at or below his daily calorie goal. He hit his protein goal. And his carbs and fats, we kind of like allow a bit more flexibility there. But as long as he hits his calories and macros or his calories and protein, so those are the two numbers we really look for. And then the carbs and fats can definitely differ day to day. Like some days his fats may be slightly higher and his fats are a bit lower, whereas other days his carbs may be a bit higher and his fats are a bit lower, right? Calories ultimately are king when it comes to fat loss. And so as long as that number is dialed in, along with hitting his protein goal to ensure that we're building, if not maintaining, all of our muscle during this time, he's absolutely good to go, right? So he's done a great job just having a good balance with that. Could he eat more fruits and vegetables? Yes, probably. I do kind of get on his back for that, but it's definitely gone a lot better since then. And so the second thing we did, on top of the nutrition side of things, is the exercise part, right? Making sure that we're following a good customized workout program based on his specific goals and his experience levels to pretty much build the muscle that he's looking for, right? So whatever equipment he had access to, we made sure that he had actually had access to that equipment. To ensure that, once again, he's building that lean muscle while also losing body fat at the same time. So a good structured workout program should look anything like this. So making sure that you hit each muscle group at least 2 times per week, because it's been shown study after study that hitting each muscle group 2 times per week is a lot better than training each muscle group only once a week, right? Because simply saying it's out there, if you only train your muscle once a week, it means that it only has, let's say, out of the year, 52 times out of the year to kind of like grow and get better and improve. Whereas if you train each muscle 2 times per week, it actually has double the amount of chances to actually grow from there, right? So 2 times a week is far better than once a week. Even for smaller muscle groups, like 3 to 4 times a week, you can definitely get away with, right? Like your calves, your side delts, your abs and stuff. You can definitely add a lot more frequency to those muscle groups, because honestly speaking, like, they don't really require that much like time to like recover in between workout, right? So they recover pretty quickly, and once they're fully recovered, you might as well just train them once again, right? More chances of growth, why not? So we did that while allowing for enough recovery in between sessions. And we also utilized modern periodization through accumulation phases within each mesocycle, which is basically just a fancy term for training block, to ensure we're progressively overloading, right? By either adding more reps every single week or more weights, or a combination of both, to ensure we're making progress month to month, right? Because it's all in well, like actually doing a workout program, but once you have that, you got to make sure that you're actually like giving your muscles a reason to grow. Because if you're constantly doing the same exercise for the same weight and the same reps week after week, month after month, it's like your body has no reason to grow, maybe beyond the first week or 2 of that, right? Like you got to keep adding like a novel stimulus to your body in order for it to grow, because once it gets used to whatever you're doing right now, it has no reason to grow, right? So that is why with every single workout, you got to come in with a game plan to make sure that, okay, last week I did 100 pounds for 10 reps. Well, this week, let me try to do 11 reps for maybe 100 pounds, or let me try to do 105 pounds for 10 reps, right? And that is also what's so cool about our app, is that it actually monitors and keeps track of all of our performances, of all of our weightlifting sessions. So we can pretty much look back on last week's performance and say, okay, I did this last week, this week, let me try to do this, right? Now, last thing here is our cardio, right? Because like I mentioned to you guys at the start of this video, calorie deficit is key. You do this by simply either eating less or burning more, or doing a combination of both. And now if you were to simply just rely on eating less, you'd have to eat a lot less food, right? Whereas if you burn a bit more calories, it actually allows you to eat a bit more food, right? Because now you're burning a bit more calories, so you can get away with eating a bit more food while still being within that calorie deficit, right? And I don't know about you guys, but I'd rather burn a bit more calories to allow myself to eat a bit more foods during a fat loss phase than just being completely sedentary all the time and just starving myself the entire time. And that's no fun, because you're going to feel lethargic, low energy, and no one really wants that, right? So when it comes to his cardio, we did not have him go on the treadmill, the elliptical, the Stairmaster, the stationary bike, any of those cardio machines, because I know for him, myself, and most people honestly probably watching this, that sucks. Like, going on a cardio machine is not fun. Like I don't know what it is, but it's just like, at least for myself, like I have this weird negative thing whenever I just think of the treadmill. I'm like, okay, that sounds boring. I'd rather not do that. Is there any way that I can still burn calories without having to do that? And luckily for us, the answer is yes. Yes, we honestly really easily can. So instead of doing that, we simply increase his daily activity through monitoring his daily step count. So everyone that joins this program either has one of these watches, whether it's a Fitbit or Apple Watch, or even like using your phone to monitor your step count. And all we do is simply monitor that. So looking at how many steps we're getting in on average. And then based on that, if we're losing weight, awesome, let's keep our step count the exact same. But if we're kind of like hitting a plateau, or it could be slightly higher, like if we're super sedentary right now, all I have to do is simply get more steps in. And there's no right or wrong answer here. You could simply go on walks throughout the day. You can go on one really long walk, or you could go on multiple shorter walks throughout the day. Even like doing your grocery shopping. That like whenever I go grocery shopping, I do it once a week on a Sunday, and I probably get like honestly 8,000 steps just shopping alone, right? Because I walk from aisle to aisle, I look at the different sections, and I just end up burning a bunch of calories because I get so many steps during that time, right? Especially if you shop at like a big store like a Costco or a Walmart, it's like, yeah, you can pretty much get most of your steps in just by grocery shopping alone, right? Doing the chores, running errands, folding your laundry, like all these small little things which may not seem like actual exercise can actually add up to you not only increasing your daily step count, but therefore also you actually burning more calories throughout the day. And by doing all these small little things throughout the day, like I mentioned, can actually add up to you burning a bunch of calories. And now luckily for Terry, he actually works a pretty physically demanding job. And so I always joke about this, but he's literally getting paid to do cardio. Like I want you guys to imagine this. If you're currently like a construction worker, or if your job just requires you to like walk back and forth, or you're just walking all the time in like maybe a factory or something like that, like instead of like complaining about that, say, oh my goodness, like how grateful am I to actually like not only get paid for doing this job, but I'm actually like getting paid to like burn calories and do cardio. I mean, how cool is that, right? Like that is amazing. So for Terry, we didn't really have to do a whole lot when it comes to his cardio. I simply told him like, hey, keep doing a good job at work, and you are easily going to get your 10 to 12,000 steps in really, really easily, right? And so now all he really had to focus on is simply like making sure his calories and his nutrition was in check, and making sure that he just did his workouts that were assigned to him. And boom, that's how he pretty much lost over 60 pounds in his program so far. So no endless hours of cardio on the machine, just simply living his life and enjoying it, right? And now to kind of tie everything together here, and I do want to give him props for this, and that is consistency, right? Because anyone can do anything for a day, for a week, even for a month, right? But what a lot of people can do is just sticking through it for months and years on end, right? And that is where most of the results really come into play. I want you guys to think of this. One salad will make you healthy. The same way one piece of cake will make you fat, right? It's what you do over weeks and months and years on end that's going to yield the results that you're really looking for, right? Like if you think of like an overweight person, it's like, do you think they just had one donut one day and then they just completely gained 100 pounds of fat? Like, of course not. No, he probably ate multiple donuts, or like he probably ate in a calorie surplus for a long period of time that kind of like made him gain all the weight, right? Same thing with like a person that has a six-pack. Like the person that has a six-pack didn't just eat one salad for one day and boom, he got a six-pack. Like no, he probably was in a calorie deficit for months, years on end to get him to where he is now, right? And that is why like just all of this in general, like you really have to be patient, and you might as well, right, considering it's going to take months to kind of get you to where you want to be, you might as well follow an approach that you actually enjoy and can sustain for the long run. Because when it comes to fitness, we don't want to just like get fit, we want to stay fit. And so if you follow like a fun, sustainable approach, that ensures that not only you are going to get the results that you're looking for, you also get to keep and maintain those results, right? And so big congratulations to Terry. He's been absolutely crushing it. And then what's so cool about this is that he's only just getting started, right? He's going to see six-pack abs pretty soon, which is super exciting. And now if you watching this video right now want similar results to Terry, maybe you want to lose, maybe it's not 60 pounds, maybe it's only 30 pounds, or maybe it's 100 pounds, whatever it may be, I want you guys to comment shreds down below in this video, or you can hit the link in my bio to book a free consult call with me to kind of go over your fitness goals and see if you'd be a good fit for our program. So with that out of the way, if you guys do have any questions for me, please let me know, and I'll see y'all soon. Peace. Now, if you want to be around a community of like-minded people just like yourself who will educate you, motivate you, and inspire you to absolutely demolish your health and fitness goals, come join the Barbarian squad down below. I guarantee you, you will not regret it one single bit, and I'll see you inside.